G'day, this is Scott Picken coming live from Teeson Island in Knysna, the beautiful place that I get to live. And really today I wanted to share for our Wealth Insight how to make money. You know, I put that post up. I'm going to Necker Island next week to spend a week with Richard Branson, his private island in the British Isles. And to be honest, I put a post up and I said, what are the questions you'd like to know? And there's thousands of likes and many comments, and the prevailing one is two. How do I make money and how do I start a business? So next week when I'm in Necker Island, I will actually do an entire Wealth Insight on how to make money. How to start a business, and I'm definitely going to get some interviews with Richard Branson. And so subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more or like the page. But today I want to focus on how to make money. I mean, there's questions there like, how do I make money? How do I borrow money? Can you give me money? Can my son come and actually work, for you? Can my daughter come and work for you? Can my granny, do you want to adopt a granny? And, for me, it's amazing because when you, when you look at it, everyone wants to know how to make money. And so I wanted to share with you the way to make money. And it's very simple. It's add more value. And so let me explain what that actually means. So I was 21 years old and I went to London. And my very first job, even though I cum laude'd my degree from UCT, which I paid for myself, by the way, for those students that think that they must be given money, I paid for every cent myself, not from my father, from myself. And when I went to London, my very first job was a sweeper on a construction site, even though I'd cum laude'd my degree. And it only lasted 2 weeks because I was earning £5 an hour, which was minimum wage, because I figured out how to add value. And actually, I stayed with that company for 5 years, and I doubled my salary 5 times in 5 years. And when a lot of people would want to, get a pay rise, or maybe they'd move to the next job because they just wanted to get more money, I'd always figure out how to add more value to the company. I'd be the guy that was measuring the concrete, and then I'd go to my boss and say, well, why can't I do steel as well? He goes, well, no one does concrete and steel. I'm like, why not? I'm bored. I want to do more stuff. Or I'd sit and figure out how we could bring in lean process flow and enhance the productivity of the site and increase. We were behind on one site by 13 weeks and bring it back on track within less than 3 months. And every single time I did that, I would go right to the top. So I wouldn't go to even my level. I wouldn't go to the guy above him. I'd go right to the CEO. And I'd sit and I'd explain the value in monetary terms, and then I'd renegotiate my package. And I did that for 5 years in a row, and I doubled my salary 5 times. So I started from a very low base, admittedly, but I was really earning an absolute fortune in pounds by the time I left, including at the age of 22, sitting at board level, not 22, probably around 23, 24, sitting at board level after doing my master's in technology, and sitting at board level of a £100 million company and basically running their entire technology strategy and rolling out technology across the entire group. And that's another one Wealth Insight that I'll give you about the one-eyed man can lead the blind. A second example for me was really, when you look at IPS, and we had developers all around the world that wanted to sell, and specifically South African developers want to sell in London. And so I figured out how to add value to them. How can I help them offer great products to clients overseas? And equally, how can South African expats get access to the best opportunities in South Africa before they went public? And so everyone won. Another example was Henny Besaidenote, a billionaire. I'm very, very proud to say now my mentor, my friend, my co-founder and my chairman of our group. And when I met him, he wanted to launch an international property fund. And I said, well, Henny, why don't we do it different? Why don't we use exponential mindsets? Why don't we use technology? And he bought into that. And I didn't ask for a job. He didn't pay me a cent. I traveled overseas at least 8 times on my own, paying for everything myself, never asked for anything, and consistently just looked at how I could add value to him. And after 4 years, we set up a company, and now we work very closely together as business partners. And it wasn't that the one was a billionaire and I was much younger with a lot less money. And now I get to invest in every single deal that he actually invests in. And the final one is that you can see me here sitting on Teeson Island. It's a magnificent place. And I went to an event in 2010 with Tony Robbins and Chet Holmes, one of the 2 most respected people in the world. And Chet Holmes has a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. I'd highly recommend it for you salesmen. And the book ultimately, he's helped more than 50 Fortune 500 companies double their sales. I bought 12 copies of that book because I know you can't get it in South Africa, and I sent it to 12 of the most respected people in South Africa. Now, admittedly, 11 of them didn't even get back to me. You know, pretty rude to be perfectly honest. But one of them did. He's an absolute gentleman and a scholar. His name's Bill Rawson. He not only got back to me, he sent me a book called The 4-Hour Workweek, which is taught by Tim Ferriss. And Tim Ferriss basically says, everyone works their entire life to make enough money to retire to the beach. Why don't you just go and live at the beach? And so that book, The 4-Hour Workweek, I read it in whenever I got that book from Bill Rawson, probably 2010, 2011. Took it very seriously. Left. I'd lived in London for 9 years, then Johannesburg for 3 years, and then moved to Cape Town because I wanted to live by the beach. And ultimately, my wife's family lived in Knysna, and it's the #1 holiday destination in South Africa. And we said, well, why don't we come live here? And we look at how magnificent this place is. And you know, everyone else is down here for Easter and enjoying their holiday away from Cape Town or Joburg. I get to live here. And so what value can you add to other people? It's not about what you can get, it's about what you can give. And the more you can give, the more you will get. And so my wealth insight for you, if you want more money, if you want your son to work for Richard Branson, if you want him to adopt you as a granny, it's not about asking, it's about giving. Figure out how you can add more value to him, to your clients, to your customers, to your friends, because whoever you add value to will increase your net worth. It's not about getting, it's about giving. So that's me coming live from Teeson Island. And if you enjoy these wealth insights, do share them with your friends. They're free. It's all about sharing the knowledge. We want to empower 1 billion people by 2020. Go check out the Wealth Movement. And if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll get them each and every week. And the last thing I'll say, next week I get to spend an entire week with Richard Branson on Necker Island. I'm sure there'll be many, many wealth insights coming out from that experience. And I'll hopefully be interviewing him with some of the questions that I would like to know. And so share this with your friends, like the page, subscribe to the channel, and you will continue to get the weekly insights. And the reason I've been turning around is you can just see how beautifully magnificent it is here in Teeson Island, South Africa. We're so privileged to live in such an incredible country. Cheers.